pace to set a Lynx record for most assists per game. Has another one. Final regular season lineups. No Nafisa Colliers have ever done that. 7 of them went on to win the title. As Boston gets...
Last possession, 3 players scrunched up in that right corner. But how about the last possession for the Indiana?
An Indiana team that is series against Minnesota. And Howard comes up with a steal. Here is Mitchell veering through the paint and lays it in.
She will be on my first team.
Boston in the paint, sneaks through 2 and lays it in. Here's the rebound. Here comes Sims. Pedaling into the paint, leaning and hitting to start this game for Indiana. And Minnesota wants a timeout. Caitlin Clark knows it. People who pull for one another, and it's really been that way from day one, and it's been continued with whoever has come in mid-season. They'd be the first franchise to 5 WNBA titles. Lundakova able to...
Kind of a different presence in terms of her physicality and size. She's also capable from 3.
Williams, no. Right, especially when something is going to be on the line for so many of those teams. Boston can't finish. Howard, 5 on your home floor or not.
Yes.
Heidemann off. Accelerates, floats, and drops it in.
Her back rim. She can also use it and spray to open teammates.
Heidemann able to sneak it in, plus the foul. And a chance for 3 for Natisha Heidemann.
How well has Natisha Heidemann?
3 off the bench, which ties a league record. We were asking her, Courtney Williams, about their live stream stud buds and how things have been going since their famous fever in their ever-expanding roster because of their injuries. Williams went for the steal. Powers sticks the jumper from 3. Backdoor. Heidemann lays it in on the... Howard, good position on the interior. Draws 2, kicks it out. Powers. You bet. Back-to-back 3s from Ariel Powers. Here's Boston off the steal. Coast to coast. Heading for 2. Tip 4 run. Here's Powers weaving and dropping it home. It's stolen by Sims. Odyssey Sims now in transition. Bends off and gets fouled. And Odyssey Sims is the energy, the life, the toughness that she brings as we check in with Holly Rowe.
Well, Erin, that role they envisioned for her very well.
Yeah, no doubt. And rebound out this. Turner has it knocked out of bounds. Last hit her. Minnesota basket.
I have to ask my son what all of that means.
Heidemann can't finish. And Turner the rebound. And a whistle that comes down with the rebound. Minnesota franchise record for assists per game and have the 3rd most all-time. That is more well to Lundakova.
Same thing. She deliver it.
This is a player who didn't play point guard at all until a couple of years ago. As Duntis hits the 3, and Williams has developed into... Williams lays it in first. Here's Petty, a deep 3. It is good. Indiana is 4 for 4 from 3-point range. 14-point Indiana lead. Carlton into the paint. Shepard lays it in this second.
For the areas they're really good is the way they can share the ball and move in open space.
Sims bodies into a whistle and will shoot 2.
How about Shea Petty? She's the
Remember, in the bubble, she was a playoff hero.
Yeah.
They're just the 4th team ever. No, those aren't. No, Sawstick. Williams bunny hops into tonight for Indiana, but then Carlton gives it right back, and Howard cashes in. Sims on the follow, that second effort, able to finish.
People I need.
Yeah.
Need a little more time to let it die.
I was about to guess Courtney Williams as my second. I knew AB, and now assist for Williams. Lexi Hull back out there with 2 fouls. Shepard again wide open in the paint, lays it in.
Great for setting up a play to get Shepard a touch inside. She was able to finish on it.
Mitchell connects on a 3. Hull off to Sims. Sims leaning jumper is good. Howard the board. Here's Mitchell trying to find an angle and does.
She said, I just love diving on the floor, whatever it takes for my team. I just want to impact the game, and doesn't care if it takes her face to do that.
You know, Holly, my old radio co-host, Robin Lumberger, now covers women's basketball 13 days. That series gets a little bit more intriguing because of the way...
Third game of a 3-game road trip.
You know, either Vegas or Atlanta.
I think any team that has the ability to shoot threes at the clip that Indiana does can be dangerous. You know, especially even Justin is almost at all times who can bring the ball up the floor. Usually 4 or 5 who are adept at making shots from deep. I mean, you saw a big there creating her own look as well from Natasha Howard.
Yeah, Cantor in the case of DeWanna Bonner left. Here's Williams. Off to Smith, unable to lay it in, and a foul against Indiana. And free throws here for Alana Smith.
Natasha on spins.
Yeah, on spins. Somebody calls too, Blau. Coming up on the WNBA halftime. And the Fever in the half. Here comes Williams, blazing to the bucket and lays it in. Do it for the first half. Indiana shoots 58% from the floor. They put up 49 points and lead.
It's got to be attention to detail. We let him get loose on the defensive end of the floor. We got to make sure right there, getting to the rim, that's too easy.
Alive. Here's Boston, can't finish, and a whistle will go against Boston. That will be her second personal. How about Minnesota in that first half?
So
here's Shepard, spinning, taking, and hitting. Gives it off in the corner. Williams can't hit the 3. Smith alone, and Indiana needs a timeout. Big jump out of the gates for the third. Williams dishes out. Smith wide open. Connects. The first 3 of the night for Minnesota had been 0 for 30. Boston gets down by Williams. And we'll go to the line to shoot 2, but a 9-0 run to begin.
that Cheryl Reeve wants.
Boston hits the free throw.
One of the things that we were talking to Steph White about before the game is, what are you looking for tonight? And she said, I'm looking for 40 bleeping minutes of good, solid basketball. Execution, effort.
Made a big impact off the bench in the first half. Here's Mitchell, open 3. It's good. Indiana 6 for. Here's Williams. Bouncing inside. Smith able to lay it in around Boston. Turner finds the cutter. Sims using the window on a really nice pass. Lead is back to 11 for Indiana. Carlton knocks into just Smith with 11. Here's Hull. Another. Fast, Rebecca, that she's able to work through and around. Draws 2. Extra feed. Mitchell.
And it was a little thing, but Bree Turner set a screen.
Smith 3 to shoot. Williams 1 to shoot. Doesn't see the clock. And a violation. So sometimes it seeps into my brain. We're not all playoff ready. Kalundakova lays it in. 7 minutes for Kalundakova. Able to flag down the board. Mitchell again. Kelsey out. Ball gives it up. With Sherrod all over her. to Mitchell. Wants to pop. Mitchell gives it up. Turner lays it in. Timeout, Minnesota. Meanwhile, play Atlanta, Minnesota with a 72% chance. 10. The WNBA playoffs begin on Sunday with a quadruple header, all on ESPN. A little hop. She took it inside the arc. Boston able to finish. Claim that 5th championship. Stuntis buries the 3. Two players who were not a part of the equation a season ago. He's been thinking about how New York was able to come back in Game 5 when they went to their super big lineup. And a foul here is going to send Clark, we know, his outlets for the season. Hadn't missed a game at Iowa, didn't miss any games last year. This season, she talked to get up to full speed. The calendar dwindled to where it was no longer going to be safe to bring her back, and it was then the prudent time to make that announcement. Now, people, which eventually was diagnosed as a bone bruise. And so the ankle still recovering, keeping it at full speed. And the groin was never fully tested, happened. And that's why Indiana and Caitlin arrived at the decision they did, as hard as it has been. And so Caitlin was just... Here's Boston laying. Jackknife jumper wouldn't go. Harrington still out with a shoulder, not playing tonight. Become a key piece off the bench for Minnesota since being acquired. Lisa Collier, the MVP candidate, also out, just getting some rest tonight. We'll step aside. Timeout in LA. And Seattle drops its final game. Steal here from Heidemann. On the break, Heidemann will lay it in. Indiana, currently the 7th seed. They can finish no worse than 6 likely. And then Golden State loses its final 2 games. Indiana would finish 6th. Howard gets fouled.
Stay ready. She believed that her opportunity was coming. And she said, you know, sometimes it's exhausting in this league. I feel like I have to keep proving myself over and come along, that God has a plan in store for me. What's next? Stay ready. And a Fever team has been exactly housed to change that narrative about how she adds energy to a locker room, and she said, I'm going to do it.
Yeah, and Holly told us that Odyssey's been so coachable in that regard and really coming along on the defensive end. Nafisa and AT. So many years, including this one, any of them could win.
Yeah.
Could win this season.
I think you might. That shit was easy. It was the unanimous year.
Trumped of games. Meanwhile, Asa Wilson has been putting up other world. Kayla Timpson heading to the scorer's table. Crowd wanted her in this time, in a long time. They've been bold. Just a game or two enough to make them feel confident.
You know, Alyssa Thomas now is having this incredible year with Phoenix. She is still without a championship.
And she go to Vegas. The Aces run their first back-to-back final. Amanda Fogo on the follow. As the Indiana Fever almost able to run out the clock there. Kelsey Mitchell, a very strong finishing performance. And the Fever, their seed of the year. They take care of Minnesota 83-72 and finish this regular season at 24-20. No worse than the 7th seed, still alive to become the 6th.